turned into the film there, and we debuted it Friday night at 4 o'clock up at Marquette this past Friday at homecoming, and it was a great success. We had about 700 people that attended. A lot of emotions ran through. We had people that had tears in their eyes, and people there a lot of laughs in there. We had a lot of funny stories, and one in particular was our teammates that has a prosthetic eye that fell out during the national championship game. They called it TV timeout.
Okay, this happened during the game.
It happened during the game.
All right.
So we got both teams looking for his prosthetic eye on the field during a timeout, a TV timeout.
Did they find it?
They found it.
Yeah.
He licked it off, put it back in his eye. And he had, what he said before he put it back in there was the other team he pointed at and says, "Hey, I'm keeping an eye on you guys." He puts it back in his socket, and it's got grass hanging out of it. Marriage, he always tells a story. Steve Marriage was our quarterback, and he tells a story about how he was about ready to throw up looking at it. He's got grass hanging out of it. So that got a huge laugh out.
I'm sure that's not the story that you intended to tell as the untold story. What is the untold story that you wanted to
Well,
make
the
sure
untold
people
story
know
about this is that back in '74, they didn't win a game. Never won a game. It was 0-10. And we came back the next year, and this was my freshman year, in 1975, won the national championship. So I got a hold of Steve Marriage. He worked for the NFL Network, did research on, had his assistants do like 3 or 4 months worth of research, came up with the premise that it's never been done in the history of sports, ever, coming back from a winless season to a national championship, any level, any sport, anything. So when you think about that, that's one of those once-in-a-lifetime accomplishments, and probably will never happen again.
What caused the turnaround?
Well, it was the coaching staff that came in. It was an influx of new coaches that came in, and one in particular that we give a lot of credit to was Buck Nystrom. Buck Nystrom was the 1956, I think, MVP of the Rose Bowl for Michigan State. We came in there, and they over half the team they got rid of because they just couldn't perform. And then there was guys that just quit because they really didn't want to put the time or the effort into what they were trying to accomplish there. So that turnaround was when you think about it, was pretty monumental to have a new coaching staff come in, and you have only one spring to get acclimated with the new system. And that's what makes it even more remarkable that something like this happened.
You were a freshman on
I was a
that
freshman.
team?
I was a punter on it. Yes.
You punted?
And I was the backup linebacker, and I was the backup tight end in this thing.
You played for Escanaba, of course.
Oh yeah.
You
yeah.
came from a winning team.
We had a great.
So that was instilled in you a little bit?
Oh yeah. You know, we went from having great teams in Escanaba to being laughed at for going on Northern because they didn't win a game, and then I'll look at them like, "What are you going there for?" You know. And so of course when we won the national championship, come back and you kind of stuck your chest out a little bit. But
why did you go there?
well, I had broken my ankle my junior year when I was here, and it wasn't fully healed. A lot of the schools that were recruiting me pretty much stopped or really tapered off.
Because of the injury?
Yeah, because of the injury, but being that Northern was so close, and Coach Rademacher, Bill Rademacher, came down and saw me quite a few times, worked me out and stuff, and saw that I could still run and that I was capable of playing and stuff. So, and then they gave me a scholarship, and and the rest, I fell into place. But it's really funny about this because at the time that this happened, we never thought anything of it. It was just like, it was just kind of another game. Yeah, we won the national champion. You're all excited and all that stuff. Until time goes on, when a lot of the guys, this was probably, you're not taking away anything from anybody, but you got Craig Woerpel, she went on to big things, and a lot of guys went on to successful things. But for a lot of the guys, this was probably one of the biggest highlights of their life, and we just wanted to have something that you could immortalize that and actually take it for prosperity, where they could look at it, show their kids or grandkids, and just have something that they can look back on. But now that we have it, I think it's kind of a great thing.
I was a freshman in high school when you did this. So obviously at homecoming up there last week, there were probably a lot of people who didn't even know about this. Was it an awareness thing as well?
Yeah. Well, they had made some broadcasts on Channel 6, and Maggie went on air with that, and we made some broadcasts over local radio stations. But yeah, it was a lot of people that really didn't have a clue like what this was about. And it was
about the winning team itself.
Yeah. So, and what's funny about the people that are in the front offices up in Northern, hell, they weren't even born when this happened. So it's kind of like you're telling the story, and it's like, well, why is that so significant? Well, I can fill in the blank here, but still, that was an accomplishment that hasn't even come close to happening up there. But they do have the program on the right line now. They've got some funding that's come in, and they've got the right coach up there now. But
You still follow the football?
yeah,
team?
yeah, we follow it. But that's been down for a long time. And so one of the things with this here too is we'd like to set up, if it does get money that comes through or whatever, we'd like to do a scholarship fund so to get some athletes in here. Because the sad part of it is when you have any kind of a program, be it what it is, a music program or arts and crafts or whatever it is, or especially football, it takes money to do these things.
You're listed as the executive producer. What did that mean?
Well, that means that I sat there and ordered everybody around.
Did you find film and stuff from those days?
Oh
too?
yeah, we got the archives at the school. They gave us carte blanche to go to the archives to dig up what we want, and we got the actual better quality film from ABC. So we didn't put a lot of the film footage on there. We focused mostly on the guys and what they were doing, how they felt, and what they went through. And a lot of the stories when you hear them, you kind of think, oh my God, that's right. Because Randy Ari, I don't know if you remember that name. He was from Iron Mountain. Randy Ari's a little bit older than us, but he was our running back, and he met his wife there on the trip from out in California. She was a cheerleader, and they got married and they've been together, and they're still together. And he never rode on an elevator or an escalator. It was the first time in his life when we stayed in these hotels that he's ever ridden on one of those. And we were all like, looking at him like, what?
No, it's very common for Youpers.
Yeah.
I've run into that even today.
Yeah.
When you take kids downstate and stuff, they
kinda
gotta
fun.
ride the escalator.
Yeah, what's an escalator?
The impact then that this game had on people obviously was very prevalent through the entire team.
Oh, well, yeah, they've had quite a few good teams following those years too, but the resources and the finances, the money that came through for all these games, built a lot of the campus, new buildings on the campus. Some of the finance or the money that came through from us winning the championship actually built the what they call the turf room over there. I think they call it, they call it the PEEF building, I guess now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of those buildings, and the enrollment went up like 3,000 students or 2,500 students the next year, and it rose to its all-time high. I think it was up to like 13,000 or 14,000 at one time.
That's certainly the importance of sports to the facility. How about to the players?
Oh, well, the players, here's the thing, with, one of the common themes that I've heard all weekend long with everybody, when everybody's, all these stories that everybody tells, but I think that the most common one was the fact that you never quit. And I know with my wife here, we go out and do things there, and she'll look at me and go, are you gonna quit right now? I said, no, let's go a little further. But I think it gives you that never quit attitude that I think it's not real prevalent anymore. I think today everybody wants to just relax and just say, hey, we'll do it tomorrow. But I think that's the biggest thing that all of us acquired out of this was that, yeah. And then one of the things that we had too was what they call the fourth quarter program. The idea behind that is that nobody beats you in the fourth quarter. So in other words, if you're just going to run the other team ragged and they're going to be dead in their doornail in the fourth quarter, we're still going and we're coming after you. There was some games that we were behind in the fourth quarter. We got into the playoffs in the last few minutes of one of the games there that got us into the playoffs, that we won the game. But we never had that idea we'd ever lose. It was never in there. We had that defeatist attitude that we were going to lose or anybody was going to beat us. And like I said in the documentary, I had a couple segments in there, but one of them I said on this, it was on paper. On paper, there's no way that we should have beat these teams. Like Boise State, we played those guys, and I think they outmanned us by about 30 or 40 pounds a man. And there was just no way we beat them. And how did we beat them? Nobody knows. Call it luck, call it, breaks going our way, or whatever you want to call it. But we always say that, we wore everybody down.
You graduated from Northern?
Oh yeah, yeah.
How did this take you through the next 3 years?
Oh, well, we actually had a better team our sophomore year. My sophomore year, we actually had a better team. But on an unfortunate break, Marriage was back. We had almost everybody back, except for a couple of guys on defense and whatever, but mostly the guys all were back. We went down to Akron and just had some, if you want to call it like a crappy call from an official, we lost the game that way. But we actually had a better team in '76 overall. But carried us through that. We still got beat up by Buck every day. Even if and the funny thing is, you never got a lot of accolades from the coaches. You always got what you did wrong, which sometimes was like maybe 1 or 2 plays. But that strove you to that excellence. And I think a lot of us these days, he was talking, we had a breakfast with him before we left on Sunday from Marquette. he was talking about the importance of that. If you're not gonna do it right, then don't do it. And that's what they instilled in all of us. So if you're not gonna do it right, just don't even do it. Don't even bother. And so I think with all the guys, they all shook their heads, yeah, we've all lived our lives that way. You know, not everything goes your way, but you know, for the most part, you put one foot in front of the other and you keep going.
The movie's now been seen, the debut.
Yeah,
is going
it's
through.
been, yeah.
What are you gonna do next?
Well, that's interesting because we're just put the cap on this thing here and it's been shown and people have seen it. We're just gonna sit back for a little bit and kind of see what happens. We're kind of in a little holding pattern because we're gonna recover from doing this. This has been about a 3-year project right here. Yeah, 3.5-year project. So we're just gonna kind of see what happens with it right now.
Certainly an incredible story. Hopefully more in the UP get to see it
Absolutely.
and hear about it. Thank you for sharing your insights on it.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Craig.
it as well.
Glad to
Jack
be here.
Hirn, a resident here from Escanaba, now lives in California, and a member of that famous 1975 team at Northern Michigan University. Thank you so much.
Thank you.